This is a story of the most controversial economy in the history. From the thumbnail you already know who it is. The fall of Soviet Union is one of the biggest things happened in the 20th century. And even today it has a long-lasted impact on the Russian economy. There are many reasons behind this fall. Like social, political, and the Cold War. But today in this video we are going to focus on the economic aspect of this story. So stick around with us till the end, as this is going to be very interesting. So it started with the Russian Revolution in 1917, against the Russian Empire. 5 years after intense protests, strikes, and mutinies, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, or the USSR, was established. It brought together a confederation of states under the rule of the Communist Party. And in 1924, Joseph Stalin rose to power. This command economy was characterized by total control over political, social, and economic aspects. This defined the Soviet Union for most of the remaining 20th century. The Soviet command economy coordinated economic activities by setting social and economic targets. Soviet economic model was run by a 5-year plan, which was the major pillar of their centrally planned economy. Initially under this 5-year plan, the Soviet Union experienced rapid economic growth. They posted an estimated average annual growth rate in gross national product. It grew 5.8% from 1928 to 40, and 5.7% from 1950 to 60. This impressive performance was largely due to the fact, as in socialist economy, Soviet Union had ability to move resources whenever needed. An intense focus on industrialization and urbanization at the expense of personal consumption gave the Soviet Union a period of rapid modernization. Along with this, they also began to catch up with the West by adopting Western technology. But not too long from this, the country's rapid growth started to slow down. Even though the control over resources gave them the initial growth, the major factor responsible for the slowdown was mismanagement of resources which were allocated to the industries. As you know, in a socialist state the government has total control over every industry. Government monitors every aspect of production, like raw resources, output, retail prices, and time needed for production. Now to understand what went wrong, consider two industries. Both the industries are provided with similar resources. The first one meets the desired targets. But the second one fails to meet the targets. Now even after meeting all the targets, next time the first gets the same resources as the last time. But the government gives more or double resources to the second industry, in order to boost the output. Ultimately this was giving them results, but at the cost of wasting a lot of useful resources. It was the simple solution from the Soviet government. To the people this all seemed good, as the results were been achieved. But in terms of economics, it was really bad. It kinda sent an ugly message. If you want more resources, all you have to do is underperform. In fact, to get more resources from the government, many industries frequently reduce their productivity by lowering output, which also reduced innovation rate in the country. Yet we also cannot deny the fact that the Soviet government had overly ambitious targets. And yes, this used to result in misreporting, as everyone was too afraid to face the music. Some other reasons could be, the Soviet Union was spending too much money on arms race, space race, and also for providing aid to other countries to help them spread communism. Certainly this spending was too high if you compare it with their economy. At one point, the Soviet economy became increasingly complex just as it began running out of money and development models. With average GNP growth slowing to an annual 3.7% between 1970 and 75, and further to 2.6% between 1975 and 80. The command economy's stagnation became obvious to Soviet leaders. This ongoing poor economic performance led to a more radical set of reforms under the leadership of Mikhail Gorbachev. While attempting to maintain socialist ideals and central control over primary societal goals, Gorbachev aimed to decentralize economic activities and also open the economy to foreign trade. This restructuring was referred as perestroika. It encouraged individual private incentives and creating greater openness. Perestroika was in direct opposition to the previous nature of the command economy. When the Soviet leadership relaxed control in order to save the faltering economic system, they actually helped to create conditions that would lead to the country's dissolution. Perestroika initially appeared to be a success, but the country still suffers from a severe economic contraction in the late 80s and early 90s. After that, Soviet leaders no longer had power to intervene among the growing economic chaos. Newly empowered local leaders demanded greater autonomy from central authority, shaking the foundations of the command economy. With the economy and political unity in tatters, the Soviet Union collapsed in late 1991, fragmenting into 15 separate states. The fall of the USSR is a perfect example of how socialist economy with loopholes cannot work. Today, down the road, Russia has learned its lessons. They no longer have a command economic structure, and have adopted a mixed economic system. Well, the Russian economy is a topic for another day. But if you want to know more about capitalist, socialist, and mixed economic systems, click on the card above. If you like this piece of content, then please share it with the world. Also, we would love to hear from you, what kind of videos you would like to see in the future.